So in this demonstration, we will show you how to create a supplier invoice with reference to a purchase order using the create supplier invoice type. So the following data are used: company code, TPC, gross invoice amount. It depends what is the amount defined previously in your purchase order. For that, we have a looking for into the purchase order. So I call the manage purchase order like this to check the amount. Manage purchase order. I remember that we have created this morning the purchase order. So to find my purchase order at different filter. I will use, for example, the purchase order date today. I click on go to display all the purchase order created today. Then I go to the detail, or I just have a look to the net order value. That is a net order value without taxes. In France, for example, for material, the tax is 20%. So the net order amount is 5,200. So I just have to multiply by 1.2 to have the 1.20 to have the right amount. So let's go to create. Yes, prerequisite for the following demonstration: a purchase order has been created with a good receipt that's been posted, but not yet settled. If we have a look, we can check on the column statute that we can see that follow on document. That means um, a purchase order has been received. So if I go to the detail of the item, in particular in the tabulation of historical in process flow, I will see that a good receiving has been made for my purchase order. So I go back right now. To open, choose, there's different ways. So to open the app, select the create supplier invoice till, like this. In the company code field under your company code, do you know? I click no. The company code is KPC1 is good. Um, Information regarding the data will be lost message. The company code is a key control element in financial accounting. Therefore, changing the company code while entering an invoice result in the loss of the values previously entered. In our example, this is not a problem because no other data has been entered yet. So to confirm the message is okay. We have made this. Okay. So in the gross invoice amount field, enter 5720. For example, that is the amount that we received from the supplier, 5720. Enter. In the basic data, also filled in the following fields: invoice date, enter the invoice date of the supplier invoice. The invoice date is today. Reference, enter the supplier invoice number. Here the number is not there. Here reference IV, uh, like this. And the posting date. This date is usually pre-filled by the system with the current date. On the basic data has been entered, the reference to the purchase order must be specified. Of course, you can enter the purchase order number directly. However, you can also enter the delivery note number of a good receipt for the purchase order, for example. To do this, you must select delivery note instead of purchase order scheduling agreement in the reference document category field. In our demonstration, we will enter the purchase order number and therefore do not need to change the selection in the reference document category field. So in the purchase order scheduling agreement field, you have different options. For example, if I select assignment option or advanced option, advanced selection. If I click on, I enter, for example, the supplier EF ports, and I ask to SAP to offer me all the purchase order to invoice. I click on go. I've got one purchase order. I select it. I click on assign. Before the invoice is posted, we want to analyze the purchase order story for the purchase order item. To scroll to the item copied from the purchase order, choose purchasing document reference. So we have to wait. To view the history of the purchase order, choose view. So we have, it's take a long time just to display it. Don't know what's happened. So we wait. So before the invoice is posted, we want to analyze the purchase order story for the purchase order item. So to scroll to the item copied from the purchase order, choose purchasing document reference like this. To view the history of the purchase order, choose view. For that, assign alt. If I click on view like this, and purchase order history. You can find the following information for the item in the purchase order history: quantity ordered and quantity received. The entire order quantity of 100 pieces has already been delivered. Quantity invoice, amount invoice, and open quantity. No invoice has yet been entered for the purchase order item, so the quantity to be invoiced, open quantity, is 100 pieces. Net price and net purchase order value. The material was ordered at a net price of 52 euro, and the expected invoice amount of the item is 5,200 euro. So we are agree with that. Okay. So if I check with the VAT in France, I don't know again what happens. Okay, the right amount with the VAT, because if I have a look to the taxes, the amount of taxes with 20% in France, that is the amount 1,040 euro. For that, I enter right 6240 and I check. That is the right. Okay, I continue my explanation. In this demonstration, we will show you how to create a simple invoice without any gap between the amount of the purchase order and the amount of the supplier invoice. So, at the last step is to save the purchase order, but before we can simulate. So which taxes are to be paid and how they are to be posted in the system depends on the tax regulation defined by law in the country of the company concerned. The posting made are controlled by the tax court. In our case, just wait. again. Sorry for the time of my Wi-Fi because my daughter used an application that consume a large part of the Wi-Fi, so we have to wait. So input VAT, I go back, the tax code is VEX6. If I go back to show you tax, you have the detail of the information. So the tax code for this item is VEX6, which means that the tax rate is 20%. To display the tax amount, choose tax, and tax data is calculated automatically. In the tax section, again, the automatically calculated tax amount of euro is 1,040 euro. When entering the invoice, you must check whether the tax code in the invoice item and the value in the taxation match the supplier invoice. You may need to change these entries according to the supplier invoice. In our examples, all details are correct. To complete the entry of the invoice, choose Post. Once you have posted your invoice, you will receive the message indicating that an invoice document has been created. We want to display the document directly after the posting to check the PO history update. For that, to display the invoice document, choose the supplier invoice number. That we have to wait again. So we click on supplier invoice. Okay, we have to wait again. So you can display the information about the invoice. So purchasing document reference, we have to display the information, tax, payment, and plain delivery cost, not attachment. I can display also the journal entries. Okay, I go back again. I'm a supplier invoice. If I want to display the history, I click on again on view, and this times I feed into the amount invoice that the full quantity has been invoiced. So the information for the quantity invoiced, amount invoiced, and open quantity were updated. The full quantity delivered for the item has been invoiced, Therefore, the quantity invoice set is 100 pesos and the open quantity is 0. So to leave the app, choose navigate to home. If I click right now about the display process flow, purchase order, invoice receipt, good receipt, and journal entry, that is free for payment right now. If I go back right now in the home menu, at the last step of this demonstration, we want to check the process flow of the purchase order. So two options. The first one is when you click on the journal entries. On the second, we can able to see this information into the manage purchase order till. That again, I open manage purchase order tills. Click on go. Select my order, purchase order date today, or I can enter directly the number of my purchase order into the field purchase order and I click on go. I go to the detail. I click on the arrow to scroll to the item section, choose item. Then to view the item detail, choose the arrow. To view all available tabs, choose the down arrow on the right. This open at list from which you can select in the process flow tab. So again, we have to wait because all the Wi-Fi take a long time. It's always the same thing when you have some children. You take all the Wi-Fi and you have to wait. So that is you arrive directly at the screen and you are able to display the process flow. On the process flow screen of the purchase order item, you can see all the document that belongs to the purchase order item. In our example, this is the material document for the good receipt and the invoice document for the supplier invoice. To leave the app, choose navigate to home. You have now seen how to enter supplier invoice with reference to a purchase order and how this update the history of the purchase order item.